folks, and welcome to our North Chronicles. Today we will be diving deeper into the new expansion, Guilds and Secret Societies. And before we go to see what changes are in the world, let's go and have a look in the card set itself. So we can find the cards that are exclusive to this new expansion by typing Guilds, or the whole thing, Guilds and Secret Societies, but I'll just use Guilds. And we can see that there are some new unique cards that you can get by defeating the particular bosses. So let's go and see if there are some mechanics that might need some explaining as we go down towards the reveal of the set. So you will see that there are new recurring cards that are maladies this time. So as long as you have this stiffness card in your hand, each turn you will getting fatigue, losing action points, and when you play a malady, including this one, this turn, you will be losing 6 hit points and discard a card. So stiffness, pretty nasty. There are also some cards that also give a ripple effect, like Sunbeam Arrow. So when the enemy plays this card to you, then whenever an enemy acts this turn, you will be getting physical penalty in your resistance. So if the boss acts first and play this card, then each enemy following him will be giving you this penalty as well. There are new channel types that take advantage of your discard pile and your draw pile, and in this particular case, not to your benefit. This is an enemy card. I have already a character active. She doesn't have any discard pile, that's why this card deals 0 damage. But her draw pile contains 332 cards, so your allies will suffer 32 hit points loss if Crushing Despair was to play it now. Okay, I will leave the maladies to surprise you when you find them, and let's continue. You will notice that you too have access to cards that channel discard pile, so if I had cards in my discard pile, this would deal more damage. There are new cards that take advantage of the Master effect, and Lay Eggs is one of these examples. You add a Dread Spider to your discard pile, and if you discard it, you get to Master 4 Spider allies, and Master exhausts those allies and triggers any relevant ripple effects that you may have. There is the Rebirth keyword. Rebirth means that you take a look at your discard pile, and the first 2 Blood Mist allies are shown to you, and you can get to pick one of them and return it to your hand. There is also cards that no longer go to the discard pile because they have this effect, or because they have certain keywords that prevent them from going to the discard pile. There is of course a discard pile where you can see all the cards that go there and you had played so far. More variety of ripple effects. There are also new types of ripple effects. So when you are discarding a card, when you are choosing to discard a card, like with control and click on that card, then you get to trigger this ripple effect and your warm allies will get stronger. So if I was to discard 4 cards, my warm allies would be getting a +12. as long as this ripple effect is active. There is also the recall keyword, which draws the first card of your discard pile to your hand. If it's 2, then it will be the first 2 cards, and so on. Coven has now its own ripple effect, so whenever Coven exhausts a witch, you might find ripple effects that can trigger this thing. And in this case, whenever Coven exhausts a witch ally this turn, your witch allies would heal. And there are different cards that take advantage of this effect in Coven. Like Hex of Pain, for example, it also has Coven. If a witch gets exhausted by Coven, you deal additional intense damage. So, depending which ripple effect you have active, Coven can be even more useful than before. Then there are some effects that apply if another effect harms the enemy. So for example, this card says Drain 12. If this effect harms an enemy, then apply to them Bleed 8, and that Bleed 8 cannot be resisted, is inevitable. So if Exsanguinate drains hit points from an enemy, it also applies inevitable bleed. That's what this card says right here. Channel can also take advantage of your attributes, and Double Strike, for example, takes advantage of my agility and my strength and channels it into damage. Again, another example with Master. This card is a recurring card. It says whenever Master exhausts a spider ally this turn, we inflict Venom 6 to one random enemy. So if we have 4 spiders, this effect will trigger 4 times once we discard this card, and we get to exhaust the 4 spiders. There are also some additional cards that take benefit of your attributes to activate bonus effects. Another example of if this effect harms an enemy, this time it goes on Decay, and if this effect Decay harms an enemy, then we apply to them Vulnerable 2, and you will find several such cases of this effect harms, and it always refers to the effect that it's before that. So Marco here says Punish Supernatural. If the enemy is supernatural, they take 18 intense damage, and if they take this intense damage, then this effect harmed the enemy and we get to stun them afterwards. There are cards that reward you for playing maladies, or to be more make the malady effects less severe by giving you certain bonuses when you play maladies. So whenever you play a malady this turn, you get to recall 3 cards, draw 3 cards from your draw pile, discard pile. Another example, if this effect harms an enemy, apply to them Burn. So if the enemy takes damage from the silver effect, if they are weak to silver, and Wrath gets to deal double damage, then we also apply Burn to them. Same for Shadow Shift. If this effect harms an enemy, apply to them Vulnerable 4, but also a ripple effect. Whenever Shadow Shift harms an enemy this turn, we get to heal and restore 2 action points. So such ripple effects will target Shadow Shift, and particularly when it damages an enemy, and give you certain bonuses. not just for this card, but for any card with Shadow Shift played this turn that harms the enemy. Same for Chaotic. You will notice several types of returning ripple effects, like enemy resists stuns if an ally leaves play, and so on and so forth. There are also double and triple effects that double or triple certain statuses. Ripple effects that targets Aura of Darkness and Aura of Light. For example, I Will Fear No Evil says that if Aura of Darkness harms you this turn, then you heal 12 hit points, regardless of the amount that it harmed you for. This card doesn't go to your discard pile, and it morphs to craft for the award with me if you have Religion 18, which is some additional benefits. Again, ripple effects: when you choose to discard a card, you restore 4 action points. For each card you discard, you restore 4 action points. Discard willingly, not with the discard effect, not with the turn, and so on. And more double effects. Channel, but this time your strength counts as 12 points higher for this particular action. So if I have, for example, strength 12, with this effect it's becoming 24, and I get a Synergy Wrath of plus 24 because I have 12 strength. Imagine if you have more. Again, Rebirth plant: when this primal elemental dies, you get to choose a plant ally from your the first plant ally of your discard pile and bring them into your hand. As you can see, there are many contacts, several cards that are requiring now a higher amount of expertise, and these cards are nearly legendary, but they don't have the border because they belong to the organization. Cards like Zero, for example. Similar effect for Pride: if Pride harms an enemy, and for each enemy it hurts, then we get to apply stun. If 5 enemies are affected with this Pride effect here, then all of them 5 will get stunned. And you will see different type of master effects as well for various types of allies. Some quite powerful consumables. And that's the 330 cards of the set. I don't think I told you everything that there is to discover. Presence, for example, is another new keyword which lets control and befriend become stronger. So if you have a control spell that can control up to 30 power, or a befriend spell that can befriend up to 30 hit points, presence boosts this value by plus 15, and presence is a buff that goes to your character and multiple presence cards can stack and create interesting effects, and when you use up this presence, then it's debuffs to 0. So for example, if I play a presence 15 card and then a presence 10 card, then I have 25. My befriend spell is 25 points higher, and regardless the result after the spell resolves, I'm going to lose all the presents I have amassed. Okay, so we saw the card set. There are also several new enemies that this time we have to search by guilds and secret societies, and these are the 89 enemies that are new. There are also several enemies that got an update in their tactics, and some of them are pretty tough. As you can see, my character is on the chosen mode, so the stats you are seeing here are how these enemies will appear in chosen. So Zarkovan will have 6.8k life, yes, and he's a pretty tough nut to crack, so to speak. But I won't show you his stats or his special cards, so you will discover them on your own. So we are here in the world. I'm in Glenfield with my character, and if you go to town you will notice that it's night, the store is closed, but there are still some things you can do. And there is this guy here, Nakrahath, who is a necromancy master and a resurgant Tenebris contact. So if I talk to him, click, he says that he can teach me necromancy, and he can teach me up to rank 18. So I don't have necromancy, but paying him 2,500 farthings will let me gain a +1 there. Unfortunately, we can't make use of his services at the moment, so let's go and see what happened if it wasn't night, but it was day instead. Let's rest at the inn. So there are different NPCs here at the day, and one of them is the blacksmith, Leonard Luquero. So if I click on him, he can sell me ingots, which I can then buy if I want, and he can also help me improve my items, and I can see that to upgrade to a masterwork level we need tier +2 times 225 farthings, superior, exquisite, and so on. And if I click here, let's go and see, I can see that I can indeed pay and upgrade these items. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that I can upgrade at the point, and even if I do, it has to be unequipped and not in my inventory. So let's check. I have equipped the dancer's blade, the banjo. I don't think any of these items is upgradable. The moonstone talisman, enforcer's cloak, and so on. Also, in order for an item to appear in this list, I also superior dancer's blade, masterwork dancer's blade should be somewhere here. Let's search for it. Okay, yes, if I go to my inventory and I unequip this, I can go back here, click, and now I can actually craft this item and add it to my inventory. And this is what the blacksmith can do for me. So let's go equip our new brand new dagger, which is here. Okay, went to my offhand. Let's see what the other NPCs can do. We have an ice here who is a hydromancy novice, and Lord Etiel, who is a vortex contact, and she can teach me hydromancy and he can teach me nobility. So let's sell some stuff to acquire their fee. Cancel the vampire ass and the velvet. And we are at 2500 farthings. So if I go to ATL, and yes, I'd like to improve my nobility. And now that I have nobility +1, I can also learn new techniques by him up to the rank I have. So I can purchase here new nobility actions. So let's use our 0 farthings to purchase nothing and just leave. But yes, now that we have nobility and go back here, Lord Etiel is busy because we interacted with him today. But if let's say rest at the inn and the day passes, everything refreshes, and also I can interact again with Lord Etiel, and this time I can also increase my nobility rank by +1 more for 1500 farthings, and this price will get increasing and increasing and so on. So let's go to Inford and see if we can find a contact from our guild, which I think should be Underworld. No, it's Canticum Noctem. So my contacts will be available at night, if any. Blood Coven, Ordo Tenebris, Resurgant, Underworld, Blood Coven. There isn't a contact here for my guild, but if it was, I could use the same interaction event and also be able to acquire cards from my own guild. Right now these guys can be interacted and teach me thievery. I already have thievery 3, so he can't take me to 4 because he can teach up to rank 1. But let's say that he was a master trainer or an adept or whatever, and he could teach me, then to go to rank 4 I would be needing 3000 farthings, which I don't have, of course, and I can't have till I upgrade my farthings capacity. So upgrading your farthings capacity will be also something that you may want to do. Last but not least, you will see that there are many new challenges than there was before, and even a new end game, which now goes for level 40, and it's located right here on Drochtheine. So you can explore here, find new challenges. There are also some new arenas that can be accessed after completing the old arena chain that will challenge you by fighting quite hard enemies. And in every town you will visit now, be on the lookout for those NPCs who can train you to new skills, help you upgrade your skills, or sell you cards that are specific to your guild or their skill. For instance, Lydia will sell blood magic cards, Gunther thievery cards, Malkor shadow magic cards, and Gaspar necromancy cards up to the rank they have, so 5, 1, 7, 5, and if the game mode rules allowed, of course. If the game mode rule have a cap there, then the maximum rank of cards they can sell you will be capped by the game mode. And you will notice there are also several new areas where you can go and explore, like this dungeon. There are also many new environs with different ley lines that you were used to. And overall, I hope that you will enjoy this expansion and have fun with it and try out new things. And you may want to check out the mod I uploaded today in the workshop, which let you use 2 organizations instead of 1. And the way this works is by picking the background of double agent. Requires for you to be not aligned, so I must have an organization already selected, and of course the mod RS double agent. And now I can go here to my starting kit and pick a second organization, and now my character will having access to both of these organizations. And if I go to my character sheet, you will notice that I can get perks from the underworld, and I can get perks from the Via Aurum. Speaking of which, you will notice that they now have with the new DLC they have additional ranks, so 4 contacts and 4 perks that will further boost the organization effects. Anyway, that's all folks for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will enjoy this expansion. I will be seeing you next time. Bye bye.